Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom manga reviews. You see by the title below, this is on chapter 508 of Fairy Tail. Yes, this is my newest addition to my manga reviews that I will be doing. Obviously, I have always enjoyed Fairy Tail. I've watched the anime, and it's one of those animes that I've watched that I haven't wanted to, I kind of wanted to just watch the anime, not spoil myself and see what happens in the manga, and just watch the anime only. But it's been quite a while already. I've always, had it in the back of my head, I kind of just want to go and read the manga. I really want to know what happens after and everything. And, recently I decided, I'm going to go and read the manga. So I go and completely binge watch the heck out of it. And I've just recently finally caught up to the latest chapter, which came out a couple days ago or something like that. And I was full on you know what? Time to make my first manga review on Fairy Tail, and what a chapter to start it off on. This is probably one of the weirdest chapters that I read in Fairy Tail so far. Just the whole power of Larkade is just what? That's his power? It just literally struck me off as this is kind of a joke kind of thing. I was okay, that's an interesting power to say the least, But pretty much, this chapter starts off obviously after Makarov using his fairy law, takes out a whole bunch of them, not all of them, but a whole bunch of them, obviously sacrificing his life. And, there's a bunch of people still saying, I don't think he's dead. It's, because obviously what happened with Juvia, what happened with Gajeel before, and honestly, I think he is dead. I think this is a death that will stay, unlike the other ones. It's a sacrifice that he had to make. He's old, and it seems like the perfect moment for a character to sacrifice themselves. And honestly, hopefully they do commit to keeping him dead in this one. But overall, after that, obviously, we get to see a new, another of the Spriggan 12, and that is Larkade. To which, of course, there's many different things that happen in this episode. One being his power is, what the hell? The power of pleasure. The power to, give pleasure onto people. It's a white light kind of thing. And you must think, oh, it's a holy kind of power or something like that along those lines, right? No. Pretty much what happens is anyone who has tasted the forbidden fruit, as he says, pretty much, is not a virgin, is affected by this. And this was quite a surprise to some of the people. Also, Angel gets affected by it, Minerva gets affected by it, then Rogue gets affected by it. I didn't expect Rogue to get affected by it, so I'm wondering, some people are starting new ships and everything. What, we got Rogue and Minerva going together? That would be pretty interesting to say the least. We did see, them going on a mission before as well, before this whole thing went down, and it's possible, who knows, that maybe they did have some sexual relationships, who else? There was Laxus was affected by it. Zedif was, of course, affected by it. Mavis was affected by it as well. So I'm wondering, was it Mavis, did she do it with Zedif? Which another people, a bunch of people were kind of thinking maybe that, who is Larkade's mom? He actually has blonde hair. So is it maybe Mavis somehow? I don't know how the hell that works out. But some people are saying that when, she obviously kind of, after their kiss kind of thing and was in a coma kind of state, he took a DNA sample and was able to artificially create a child between them, and that's how Larkade was created. That would be an interesting concept, an interesting theory if that really became true. That's pretty much the only similarity I can see, the blonde hair kind of thing. Obviously Zeref doesn't have blonde hair, so it would make sense that Mavis is one of the only other blonde hair characters in this, that she would obviously, and it shows in this one that she is not a virgin, even though that doesn't really have anything to do with it. Obviously, depending on the way he conceived this child kind of thing. So I'm not too sure. There's still a lot of holes in that kind of theory, but it would be a pretty interesting thing on who is Larkade's mother, how was he created kind of thing. That's one of the big things that you think about after watching this episode. Who else? We find out Kana is, yes, indeed, a virgin. She is actually not had sex yet, so that's pretty interesting. Anyone who thought, obviously the way she acts, you never know, right? But she's pretty much just a tease. But in actuality, yeah, she's still a virgin. Um, the funniest part of all of them was Gildart's expression in it. He's just like full on embracing the pleasure, like, but it feels so good with that face. And I was just cracking up, like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's something Gildarts would do after, you know, him coming in, taking so long to finally come into the war and everything, finally come in super badass. All of a sudden, this moment happens. Everyone's like on the ground trying to, you know, like, oh, trying to hold against it, and he's just like embracing it, like, oh, it feels amazing though. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Gildarts, awesome. But it also, in this, since the whole pleasure kind of thing affects not only his enemies but also the, you know, his allies, it also affected Irene, which a lot of people have been wondering what is the connection between Irene and, you know, Urza. So this one does make like a possibility, because some people are saying, you know, is it the mother? Is she the mother of, you know, Urza? Is she the sister? She looks too young to be the mother, but also you see that she's not a virgin, so it's a possibility of somehow that she, and you know, she did have a baby and it was Urza, though she was like, she is, you know, that last time she said when they first saw each other, she said that she is her kind of thing. So I'm not too sure fully on that yet, but it does show that she is not a virgin. She is not a virgin, so it is possible that maybe she had a baby and it was Urza. So we may see that later on in other episodes. That's another thing that was pretty crazy in this chapter that we did find out. So it's pretty crazy how many things were brought up just because of his, you know, Larkade's weird, perverted pleasure power. Like, really, who would have thought, like, out of everyone's powers, you see, like, what is his power gonna be, you know? He's like super strong looking, he's one of the Spriggan 12, they all have some crazy ass powers, and then I'm not too sure if he has any other type of powers, but his power literally just, he can, anyone who's not a virgin, you know, you're gonna die from pleasure, pretty much is how it's gonna be, you know. And it's pretty interesting to see that concept kind of come up. But of course, you do see that Jalel them got destroyed by August. You do see that Wendy and Urza is about to go and fight with Irene, to which of course she is affected by, you know, it's called Larkade's power. But of course, Zareth at the end tells him to stop using his power, so it should start to go back to normal. I don't know if he's ever going to start using it again, but it was kind of, it was pretty weird, to say the least, that that is his power. And then it gets a little bit more weird. Yukino is going to start to fight him, and it pretty much goes hentai. The anime goes hentai pretty much, and like a bunch of things come up, start grabbing her, and it starts like, oh my gosh, is she gonna get raped or something in this? What the hell is wrong with this guy's power? Like, what the hell? And then of course Kaguya comes at the end, and it looks like that she will be the one to fight him. I don't know how that kind of matchup will work. It's interesting, but I don't see Kaguya being the one to have to end up going to, you know, fight against him. But the big reveal at the end was, of course, that, you know, obviously, like I said, that he is Zareth's son. He's not just a, you know, a minion or one of, like, just a regular minion of the Spriggan 12, you know. He's actually his son. So it should be interesting to see his origins, and maybe them, you know, talk about that kind of stuff and everything. Like, who is his mother? How was he made? Is he really, you know, the son? If he is the son, that means that Natsu is actually his uncle, and just a whole bunch of things happened in this chapter. Literally, even though it was super weird in some points, it was pretty crazy and exciting, and I cannot wait to see how the next chapter is. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed my very first Anime Kingdom manga review on Fairy Tail. If you guys did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And if there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, feel free to comment below. And yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So till next time, see ya.